Hello and welcome back to Alyena's Kitchen, where today we are going to make a delicious caramel apple pie. This pie is so full of flavor with a homemade caramel sauce, and it's also beautiful. The first thing we are going to start making is our caramel sauce because we want to let this cool before we put it on our pie. So I'm just going to cook down 1 cup of granulated sugar over medium heat. And we are going to cook our sugar until it is no longer crystallized and it becomes an amber looking liquid. You don't want to burn your caramel. I've burned my caramel several times and it's always very sad. So this is one of those processes where you want to stay very close to your pot. Now that our sugar has become this beautiful amber liquid, we can add in our butter. And I have 6 tablespoons of butter going in, and I chop this up so it is in cubes so it can combine a little bit better. This will bubble up a bit, don't worry, just be careful that it doesn't splatter you because it's very hot, and continuously mix it until the butter is completely melted and combined. Now that our butter is in and it's completely melted, I'm going to take my stick out and let it cook for 60 seconds without stirring it at all. Now I have half a cup of heavy cream going in, and you're going to slowly pour this in. Now that my heavy cream is combined, I'm going to take my stick out once again and let it cook for 1 more minute before removing it from the heat. Ooh, nope, hot, very hot. Now I've removed this from the heat and we're just going to let our caramel cool down before we add it to our pie. And oh my goodness, does this not look absolutely incredible? And I didn't burn myself while making it, so I think that's a success. And I didn't burn the caramel. Now, while this is cooling down, we can start on our actual pie. Let's do it. I'm using Honeycrisp apples, but you can also use Pink Lady or whatever apple you want. You can either peel your apples or leave the skin on. That one is just personal preference. There's a lot of noise outside today. And you're going to want to thinly slice your apples so they're all about an equal thickness. You can use 6 to 7 apples. I'm using 6 really large apples today because I like my pie to have a dome on it. And here we have all of our apples, and we can start adding in our spices. For my spices, I have 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon going in, along with half a cup of granulated sugar to give a little sweetness, and a 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, and a 1/4 teaspoon of ground cloves, along with 2 tablespoons of freshly squeezed lemon juice, and a 1/4 cup of flour. Now we're going to gently mix this all together. Make sure your hands are clean if you're using the hand method. And just make sure all of our apples get coated in all the flavor and spice. Okay, now we're on to one of our final steps before baking our pie, the crust. You can either make a homemade crust, but I'm using store-bought today because I'm not gonna lie, Pillsbury knows their crust. So I'm just going to put a little flour down so nothing sticks. These usually don't stick, but just in case. And I'm going to roll it a little bit thinner so it fits my entire pie tray. Okay, that should be good. I don't want it too thin. At this point, I've also buttered my pie dish before adding in my dough because we hate when things stick here. It is no fun for anyone. And I'm just going to gently press in my pie dough. Now that I've placed my pie crust in, I'm going to pour in all of my apples. This is also a really good time to taste the apples because they're really good. Now I have half a cup of my homemade caramel sauce going into my pie, and I'm just going to drizzle this on top of my apples. Now, doesn't that look absolutely amazing? I am obsessed with caramel sauce. It's one of my favorite sauces on dessert. You can decorate your pie however you like, but I'm going to use a bunch of little cutouts and make it really pretty and special, and I will show you how to do that right after I wash my hands. To create the decoration on top of my pie, I started with cutting out my dough in thick pieces as well as some thinner pieces. And the thinner pieces I used to make my braids. I also have a bunch of little snowflake cookie cutters, which I use as the top decoration. And then I egg washed it as well as sprinkled some coarse sugar on top. And now all that's left is baking it. I preheated my oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm going to bake my pie for 20 minutes, and then you lower the heat down to 375 degrees and continue baking it for about 40 to 50 minutes, checking it about halfway through to make sure your crust isn't browning, and if that does start to happen, just put some foil on top. Now here I have my caramel from earlier, and I'm just going to give myself a drizzle on top because you can't have enough caramel, can you? I don't think so. And now it's time for the taste test. I don't think there's anything better than a warm, gooey apple pie. Wow. That is so good. If you are looking for some delicious desserts that are all homemade, there will be a link to my other recipes right here or over here. Thank you so much for watching, and happy holidays. Bye for now. And don't forget to check back in next Sunday because we are making these delicious bite-sized New Year's Eve cupcakes.